Hello, beautiful people. How are you? I am back. Hello, my clients. You know who you are. For those who don't know me, my name is Donnie Brown Hill. I am America's Better Life Strategist, and what I do is I help women with broken hearts heal through looking at their relationships through the 3 R's, which is reconnect, release, or renew. And that's what you have to do with your relationships. You have to decide what is best for you by the 3 R's. You're either going to reconnect, you're going to release, or you're going to renew your relationship. So I help them work out their lives. That's exactly what we're talking about. Well, today's title is simply, there is so much bullshit in my life. And as my clients know, that's usually how they're feeling. There's so much going on. So yesterday's was, again, something a little fuck Valentine's Day. Yes, it was, because that's how my clients feel. And I know you guys are hurting. And sometimes you're hurting from your past relationships and you can't let that go, and you're dealing with it in your present relationship, or you are dealing currently with it in your relationship, and you're just trying to figure out, what do you need to do to make the changes. So today we're going to talk about life. And I love acronyms. Anybody who's worked with me know I love acronyms. And life stands for letting go, I am, fulfillment, and execution. But I'm going to recap a little bit because we're going to still use the gardening scenario. Last time we talked about how your heart is like a garden. And I asked people to actually visualize the most beautiful garden you could ever think of, and then envision that to be your heart. And we only talked about 5 things that you can plant. There's several things you can plant, but we only talked about 5. And we talked about seed, annuals, perennials, bushes, and trees. And we talked about how everyone plants a seed, and you decide what grows and what's weeded out. But more important than that, whatever you weed out, you have to take it out, because you have to take the weeds out so your heart won't harden. And that's what happens when you leave the weeds in. Your heart gets hard. So, and then you got to give it love. And love is letting go, open-mindedness, vision, and execution in your life. So then we talked about annuals, which come back, they die after 1 year. They're like seasonal people. They're just there for a moment. They're not there to stay. It's just a moment. And then we talked about perennials that come back every year. But with perennials, every 3 to 5 years, they're replanted because they decline. And that's what you need to do in all your relationships. You need to use the 3 R's in your in relationships. You need to decide if you need to reconnect, release, or renew your relationship every 3 and 5 years, because you change. And then we had bushes. And bushes is what I call Thor friends. Those are your ride and die. But Thor stands for they're trustworthy, they're honest, they are open-minded, and they respect you. So they have your back. And then we talked about the trees. With trees, there's deep roots, and they're there to stay with you to the end, to death do you part. And that's what you want in a long-term relationship. So today we're going to talk about life, all the bullshit that's in your life. And like I said, life stands for letting go, I am, fulfillment, and execution. Now, I asked you this question. What do you secretly have that you know that you need to let go of? There's something in your life right now that you really need to let go of, and you haven't. And the reason why you haven't is because you don't quite know who you are. A lot of times, people base I am on what someone has told them, based on what society, culture, a pastor, a teacher, things like that. They define themselves based on that. And that's not the case. You have the right to choose something different. So you have to decide, who are you in this life? What do you want out of this life? So there's 2 things you could do. 2 quizzes to take. The first one is 16personalities.com. So you can know what type of personality you have. And the second one is the 5lovelanguages.com, and take that quiz so you can know how you want to be loved, which is important in life, because love is everything. Everything functions from that. Now, we do have fear, but love always overcomes fear. But you really have to know that. And then we have what I call fulfillment. Now, fulfillment, as we talked about yesterday in our last video, fulfillment is what you want in life. It's not happiness. Happiness just comes and goes. Happiness is based on what is happening around you. But fulfillment, oh my goodness, that brings happiness, that brings joy, that brings peace and love. And that's what you want. And I want you to write down 10 things that will just bring you joy in this life, that you know these 10 things just will fulfill you. So write that down. And then I want you to execute. What can you do now that you have the power to do right now? There's something you can do. It may not be a lot that you can do, but there's something that you can execute right now to go towards working towards one of those 10 things that will fulfill your life. So if you want a life, you have to define it. It's not based on what the world has told you. It's based on who you are as an individual. God made us individuals, and we have purpose. And we have things that we must do that are different from someone else. So what? You came out the same house doesn't mean you're going to be the same. As we know this, we've seen it happen multiple times. So just figure out what your life is. And think about the bullshit, okay? Manure. What does it do to the soil? What it does to the soil is it warms it up, and then it helps it decompose. It decays, it rottens. And see, that's what bullshit does in your life. Bullshit lets you get heated up, because that's the only way you're going to probably react or get upset. You're upset at this point. That's what we do. We heat up and we're mad. And then you got to let it decay because it served a purpose. You got to figure out how you want to live your life. You got to let it go. You got to remember who you are. So what bullshit comes in your life? It serves a purpose. It brings nutrients. The manure brings nutrients to the soil. So does bullshit to your life. It's part of it. So, but you got to look at it differently. You got to see that it's there to serve a purpose, and then you got to live your life. You got to let go. You got to remember who you are. You got to remember, is this really part of fulfilling my life? And then you got to execute what's right for you. And just go ahead and go with that. So let the bullshit come in. It's going to come. You can't stop it. But what you can control is your life. Letting it go. Okay, this is not me. This is not me. This is not what I want in my life. This will not fulfill the dreams and the desires I have in my life. You know what? I'm going to execute something so I can have what I want in my life. And you got to love yourself. You got to let go. You got to have an open mind. That's where the love comes in with the bullshit. You got to have an open mind. And then you got to have a vision for your life. And again, you execute that. So live your life with love. Remember those two acronyms. Live your life with love. And when it comes into your life, it's just that. It's there to bring something to your life. And then it will decay if you let it just warm up and let it go. It will decay and rot, and you can let it go. So, recap. If you want the life that you want, you have to define that. And only you can define that. It's not based on what mama, pastor, teacher, coach, society, culture, none of that. It is based on what you want. I had to change my parenting because I wanted my children to always feel like they were loved and we lived together. That my home wasn't mine and I'm waiting for you to leave. You are welcome here. You are a blessing to me. And I will always love you no matter what. One of the things that I've done differently, every birthday for my children, I put on Facebook. I tell them that I love them. And I tell them, don't you ever do anything in this life to make me smile and sacrifice your happiness. Because I'm already living my life. I need you to live yours. And whatever that is okay with me. With that may come disappointment. But one thing that will never change is that I always love you. So go out here and live this life. Because I need you to live this life. Because there will be a day that I will need you. But I want you to have lived before I come. And that's different than what I That's the life that I want for me and for my children. I don't want to hold on. God had never given them to me to hold on. His intention was for me to give them his foundation, let them fly. So that's how I became a different parent. So my kids know that they're loved. I don't catch them. They feel me, but God has them. So I let him do his thing. I let them go through the things they have to go through to become who they need to become. So I changed it. I didn't scream and holler. I didn't beat. I don't belittle. You know, those are things that I experienced as a child. As an adult, what you talking about? As an adult. And I decided I wanted it different. So that's what I'm telling you. You have the right to choose. But you do have to let go of things. You can't keep holding on to things that were never yours to keep. Remember with the annuals. Some things in your garden are just there. In your heart, they're not supposed to stay. You have to let them go. So I leave you with the message. Yeah, life has so much bullshit in it. But it's how you smell it. How you take it. It's supposed to be there. It adds to the life that you have. So change will come. But what happens is you don't make a change. You keep accepting the same crap and think something's going to change. And I think they call that insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over and you think it's going to change. And it's not. So I challenge you. Okay? I want you to look at what are you secretly knowing that you need to let go of and you haven't. And be honest with yourself. Don't you ever lie to yourself. That's one person you never lie to. You have to trust yourself. And then I want you to look at who are you. Go ahead and take those 2 quizzes. 16personalities.com and 5lovelanguages.com. And see who you are and how you want to be loved. And then write down 10 things that you know will fulfill you, that will bring you so much joy. The top 10 things that will bring you so much joy. And I challenge you to execute one thing that you know that you can do right now towards one of those things. So that's what I have to offer you today. Yeah, there is a lot of bullshit in this life, but it's a choice to accept it. I want you to know that you are powerful, that you are beautiful, and you have nothing to prove. And more importantly, there is nothing wrong with you. That what you're going through is what you must go through in this life to become who you need to become. And yes, with every choice there are consequences. But you always have a choice to make. It's a do-over. I tell my kids there's no such thing as failure. You know why? Because God said you can do something else. Stop looking at your life as a failure. Look at your life as a lesson. What have I learned about myself? What do I want to change? How do I want to love myself? What do I need to let go of? What I need to be more open-minded about? What is my vision for my life? And how can I execute something now which is within my power? Because you can't change another person. You can't make anybody love you. No, you can't. They either do or they don't. But you can be damn sure they're going to love you the way you want to be loved. And if they don't, they have to go. See, that's reconnect, release, or renew. You got to decide. So, for all my replayers, hello, how you doing? And my clients, I hope you hear me, babies. And you're not even babies, you're beautiful women. You have it going on. Do you hear me? You are powerful. You are enough just like you are. And this is Donnie Brown Hill signing off. Many blessings and Godspeed on this journey called life.